Hello guys, I hope you are doing well. It's once more the professor, and today in this video I want to talk about how to get admission in Russia or how to get invitation in Russia, because these are two words that are being confused for people that are interested in the Russian process. The first thing we are going to talk about is these two words, how to differentiate these two words. So in Russia we usually talk about invitation, not admission, because in other countries we talk about admission from the university, meaning the university gives you admission and you go to the embassy without admission. But here in Russia, we usually talk about invitation because it's the invitation that is used at the embassy in your country. And the invitation is not done by the university, the invitation is done by the Russian government. So the university is just the middleman between you and the Russian government. So yeah, it's not like other countries where the university has full power to give you an admission and you go to the embassy. Here the government has to admit you, the university admits you, and now for the admission is done by the university. The university has full power to do admission. But the thing here in Russia is that the admission is useless. You cannot use the admission at the embassy to get any visa. They can write you an admission, they sign, they put a stamp, but it is useless because you will not use it at the embassy. The only thing that can be used at the embassy is an invitation. So the admission is possible to get at the university. The university can write your admission, everything you have been admitted, they write everything. But now they need to do invitation to the Russian government, to the MVD. We call here MVD, MVD in English. So they are the one doing invitation. So how do you get invitation in Russia? Because this is the document that's used at the embassy, not the admission. How do you get invitation? The first thing to do to get an invitation, you must have a passport. A passport is a document used to get an invitation in Russia, not your ID card. The passport is used to get an invitation in Russia. So to get an invitation in general, only the passport is needed. Only your passport, with your passport only, you have the ability to get an invitation in Russia. Only with your passport, you have the ability to get an invitation. Now, given that you are coming for studies, there are some universities that can ask you your school certificate, your master's, bachelor's, and some different other documents. But usually only the passport is needed to get invitation. So that's how things work over here. So to get invitation in Russia, you need your passport first. Now, depending on the university, they can ask your certificate, and depending on the university too, they can ask the translation of your passport and your certificate too, the notarized translation. So every university has its own requirements, but in general, the passport is needed. And as I said, depending on the university, you can be asked translation. Some university don't ask any translation. Some university ask translation. Also, there are invitation fees. Some university ask for invitation fees, and the fees varies depending on the university. There are some universities where you pay 3,000 rubles, some 10,000 rubles, some 2,000, some you don't pay anything. There are some universities where you don't pay anything for invitation. So as I said, everything depends on the university, but the main thing that is needed is a passport, usually a certificate, sometimes translation, and sometimes invitation fees. These are the four main things that are needed to get an invitation to Russia. And now there are some universities that also do online interviews. Before inviting you, they interview you online. You get into a Zoom call with the university, they discuss, to ask you some questions to be sure that you are really interested in studying. And then when they accept you, then they send your documents to the immigration office of Russia for them to invite you. So usually that's how things work over here. And I think that's all you have understood about how the admission process works in Russia. I think everything is okay. So see you next. Ciao, ciao.